Hey everybody, Dragon of Envy back with you again. Long hiatus because I was waiting for some games that I actually wanted to play to come out for me to do maybe a video or review on. Luckily for you guys, Darkstalkers, one of my absolute favorite games and fighting game titles of all time, has been redone. Well, kind of. Capcom has released much to the same as they did with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom Origins, or Marvel vs. Capcom 1 Origins, and also the same with what is that? Street Fighter. What is it? Final Fight or Final Strike 3. Sorry to anybody else that sees that because I'm not a huge Street Fighter fan. So to be honest with you, I'm not particularly sure on the name. But we're getting a cool little package here. It came out on PSN yesterday and it launched on 360 today. So I picked it up this morning and then had to go to work. So I got to try it a little bit. And then when I got home, I hopped on it and played a bit more. Some cool little tidbits that they've added back to the game is one, obviously, since they didn't completely redo the game and redo all of the graphics and so forth, they just added a HD sort of filter that goes through it that smooths out a lot of the pixels and everything like that, bringing it up to kind of an HD standpoint or quality, but not full 720 or 1080p. Probably somewhere along the lines of 480i or maybe even 4080p. A lot better to look at. Unfortunately, we didn't get a redo on the music, though we did get that in a lot of the opening title screens and so forth. But a little excerpt that they gave us from me looking at Metacritic. Not too many people have reviewed it yet, and I have a feeling that probably has to do with the fact that Capcom really hasn't promoted it very well. I don't know if that's because they don't really want to make a fourth one, which is apparently what the creator has been pushing for quite some time, and I guess Capcom really hasn't been too open to the idea, so they left them kind of with the option of, we'll do this game, and if it sells well enough, then we'll do a Darkstalkers 4. So for you guys out there that are fans or just fighting game fans, please, 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 I beg you, buy a copy of the game, or buy 2 copies if you have 360 and PS3. But just a little summary to give you guys a little bit more info into it. Highlighting a dynamic cast of characters taking part in a fast-paced fighting action, Darkstalkers Resurrection contains 2 games. Night Warriors Darkstalkers Revenge, which if I remember correctly actually didn't come out here in America. I think it only came out in Japan, or at least that's what it feels like for me because one of my buddies, me and him only played it on his Japanese PlayStation. So if that's not the case, well then for you guys that know better, obviously go ahead and leave your comments and let me know that. I'll be much happy to hear it. And then also Darkstalkers 3, which I also played quite a lot on console and in the arcades. All of this included for us all in one package. Each game has a bunch of features added, including a robust GGPO-enabled online gameplay. GGPO, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what that stands for, and I probably should have looked it up. The HD graphical filter with multiple viewing options, that's actually kind of cool, and I recommend that you guys out there that like to kind of geek out on some of this stuff, go ahead and pop into the option screen when you're playing and go down to, I think it's screen options, and look at the different views, and it lets you go in the standard view, which gives you kind of an arcade cabinet feel with achievements available for yourself, and if you're playing 2-player, also for your opponents on opposite sides of the screen. You can stretch it out into a widescreen, a further stretch, and then you can also go into a retro view. You can go into a arcade cabinet view, which is kind of cool because it pulls you away from the screen and makes it look like you're almost looking over the shoulder of a person that's actually playing the game. So it gives you that cool feel of being in the arcade again and having your quarters sitting off to the side. Also gives you the replay sharing, which I think is really cool. For you guys out there, much like myself, who have the ability or even have a channel on YouTube, you can load up the information for your YouTube channel and then automatically upload these replays directly to it. So you don't even have to hop on your computer or try and go through the painstaking process of trying to find a way that you can record it and then get it on there and it not look like crap. I guess they've seen that a lot of people are into the whole showing each other like how to play characters or just having gameplay videos or just awesome matches and so forth. So you can upload that stuff and show people cool combos and so forth. The spectator mode, which of course everybody has been keen on that since coming out in some of the other fighting games that have become more popular online. Just being able to watch other people play is always fun. Also in-game achievements, which all of us are obviously addicted to now. The in-game ones are just little milestones and so forth that you can achieve, which will allow you to unlock victory points that you can go into the vault and then buy screenshots, game videos for completing the game and so forth. So in case you just like playing as one character, you can still unlock all that stuff for everybody else and not have to play through the game as everyone if you don't want to. And then a challenge and tutorial mode, which I think is actually really cool, because back in 1995, when this game was viable and in the arcade, unless you bought the player's manual that had all of the breakdowns of the combos and everything like that, you kind of either just had to play the crap out of it and figure out how to play your character, or have somebody else that you knew who knew how to play the game extremely well that is good enough at teaching and be able to walk you through it. Back in those days, I didn't really have a whole bunch of people that played fighting games, because most of the people I played with back then were either extremely really good and much better than me and not willing to teach me, or a lot worse than I was. And once you got to a certain point, I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there are familiar with this, you get good enough, you beat all of your friends, and then they don't really want to play the game anymore. So you're stuck playing either alone or not at all. But it's really cool. It goes through showing you some of the basics that you'll need to know for getting to know your character and introducing you to it. So for the people that have never played, this will let you get kind of feel out a character that you like. And for the people that have played and want a good refresher, highly recommend it. But yeah, obviously there's going to be more stuff to this game than even what I've gotten to really scratch the surface on and so forth. But everything that I've seen, I really do enjoy. I can say that I would have liked to see them do a little bit more with the game, mostly graphic side and definitely music side. I like the original music, and it would have been nice to have an option to have the original music and then a fully remastered soundtrack, either with like kind of a throwback nod to it or just a complete rework. So then if you want to listen to the original stuff, you could, and if you wanted to listen to the new stuff, you also could. I also would have liked to see them, instead of doing this HD filter, it would have been cool if they could have done a little bit more work and a little bit more effort into giving us an updated visual to it. I'm glad in some ways that they didn't, because I don't feel like they've ruined the game that way, but it would have been nice just for the option to show that they had a little bit more effort and a little more interest in the title. But hopefully all of us get them together and buy enough copies of this so we can get a Darkstalkers 4 and maybe get some of the awesome graphics that we got out of Street Fighter 4, or even in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, even though I'm not much of a fan of that particular title as much anymore, mostly because of the online play. I hope that I gave you guys enough information and info on the title. Feel free to leave me comments at the bottom of the page after you check out the video, and come back and check out for more. The more games I get my hands on, the more videos that I'll post up for you guys. If you have any games that you'd like to see me do reviews for, please feel free to send a message or leave a comment at the bottom, and if I can get my hands on it, I'll happily do a review on it. Thanks, have fun, and enjoy your Darkstalkers.